for this exercise, I have my back up against the wall, and then from here, I wanna make sure to keep my back neutral. Don't let the back round while you do this. Keep the back neutral. I kinda like to put pressure into the floor to make sure I stay in this position. And then you wanna keep the core engaged. So working off a strong, stable core, you're gonna lift your leg up with the hip flexors, the muscles here. You're gonna feel it in the front of the hips and the quads here. Hold, and then come back down. So again, keeping the core engaged. Now you're lifting up with the thigh. Bring your leg up as high as you feel comfortable, and then come back down. So the higher, the more challenge this is gonna be.
So these are hip flexion liftoffs. It's a matter of just getting the side that you want to exercise and target up on an elevated surface. If this range was easy, I could always lift out the box, but you want to start at a lower surface, at a lower height. I'm set up in this position. I'm going to be strong on my right side to keep my balance. Maintaining the rest of my body staying still, I'm just going to lift my left foot up in the air, purely moving through my left hip into flexion. I'm not arching back. The rest of my body is very still, just lifting up with my left leg and then back down. And like I said, that gets easy. You want to focus on end range liftoffs. You would maybe start here, lift up, back down. Lift up, back down. So this is a dynamic standing Thomas stretch. It's really focused on the left hip flexors here. So I'm getting my right foot up on the elevated surface. We're focused on the left side. Once I get into this position, I'm going to flatten my low back by tucking my pelvis, performing a posterior pelvic tilt. While maintaining this position, I'm now going to shift my weight forward. We're going to make this dynamic. So you don't want to make it super ballistic, meaning going super hard and fast. It's a matter of just slowly moving through the motion. I'm shifting my weight forward as I'm squeezing my left butt muscles, and I'm feeling a pulling, stretching sensation in front of my left hip. It's one of my favorite dynamic stretches to do, especially if I've been sitting for a while. This just helps open up the hips a little bit versus just holding a static stretch. Making it dynamic is nice. Okay, so here's a half kneeling hip flexor and quad stretch. If kneeling down on your knee is uncomfortable, you can add some extra padding. So maybe it's a pillow, maybe it's a little AirX pad. Get something under your knee for comfort. And now what we're going to be doing is we're actually stretching and targeting this side. So it's really important to, before you begin the stretch, perform this posterior pelvic tilt. Sort of squeeze your butt muscles on this side. That's going to drive your hip a little bit forward. And now I want you to pull your ribs down, activate your abs a little bit. You can even stay a little bit leaning forward because we don't want to be doing this. So we're here, and then you're going to lean forward. You're going to hold this position. You should feel a nice stretch in front of your left hip. If you want to progress this stretch, you can also keep these muscles squeezed here and lift your foot up off the ground. You're going to feel a good hamstring contraction as you do this, but it'll also increase that stretch in front of the thigh. It's important to not arch your back as you lift that foot up off the ground.